Past the halfway point of their season, may require as many as 56 points in their remaining 40 games. As far as the Wild are concerned, they've lost 10 of their last 11, and they hope they found what's been missing in their game on a two-day retreat to Banff. They'll be without Pierre-Marc Bouchard tonight. Brad Staubitz is in for him. We start tonight at the Saddle Dome with a ceremony honoring a milestone game by the Flames' Olli Jokinen.
11-year-old Alex Smith from the Westwood Warriors. And now, number 13, Olli Jokinen has joined that very exclusive club. To begin this evening's ceremony, please join us in welcoming the family of tonight's honoree. His wife, Katarina Jokinen, his daughters, Alex, Emma, and Kira. We'd now like to invite Olli to join his family in the red carpet as we ask you to direct your attention to the Energy Board for a look back at what has truly been a very successful NHL career.
Olli Jokinen was selected 3rd overall by the Los Angeles Kings in the 1997 NHL entry draft. After playing for HIFK Helsinki in the Finnish Elite League and representing Finland at the 1997 World Championships, Jokinen then spent the next few years between Finland and LA, making his NHL debut October 1st, 1997 versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Over the next 3 years, Olli would play over 150 games with both the Kings and the New York Islanders. He scored! Before being dealt to the Florida Panthers in the summer of 2000. Olli would go on to play 7 seasons for the Panthers, becoming the team captain in 2003 and setting franchise records for games played, career assists, and career points. After starting the 2008 season with the Phoenix Coyotes, Olli was traded to the Calgary Flames on March 4th, 2009, and made his Flames debut in memorable fashion the following day in Philadelphia.
Scores! Olli Jokinen's first as a Flame. Here comes Jokinen, shoots, scores! Olli Jokinen has a second goal.
Jokinen would record 15 points in 19 games as a Flame that season and made his NHL playoff debut in April versus Chicago.
There's a chance to score! Olli Jokinen!
Olli played 56 games for the Flames in the 2009-10 season before being dealt to the New York Rangers on February 1st, 2010. But as fate would have it, Olli would re-sign with the Flames on July 1st, 2010. On January 1st, 2012, Olli Jokinen reached an incredible milestone, playing in his 1,000th NHL game when the Flames visited the Nashville Predators. Not only has he been an invaluable member of the Flames, Olli has been exemplary at representing his native Finland, playing for them at the World Junior Championships, the World Championships, the World Cup, and the Olympics. Olli Jokinen is not only a leader on the ice and in the Flames dressing room, he is also well known for his commitment to giving back to his community. An enthusiast for working with youth, Olli has worked with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and also created his own school program called Olli's All-Stars. The Flames organization has been honored to have Olli, his wife Katarina, and their 3 daughters, Alexandra, Emma, and Kiara, call Calgary home. Congratulations, Olli, on your 1,000th NHL game.
At this time, Captain Jerome McGinley, alternate Captain Jay Bomeister, and Corey Sarich of your Calgary Flames will present flowers to Olli's wife, Katarina, and his daughters. Olli will also be presented with a gift from his teammates at a separate ceremony later tonight. Now please welcome to the ice members of the Calgary Flames ownership group, members Alvin Libet and Jeff McKaig, and Calgary Flames general manager Jay Feaster to make presentations on behalf of the Calgary Flames ownership group and organization. Jay will now present Olli Jokinen with the commemorative silver stick. This silver stick has become a tradition for all players to reach the 1,000 game plateau and is one of the greatest symbols of longevity and perseverance in the National Hockey League. Ole is also being presented with the commemorative Tiffany Crystal piece by Jeff McKeag on behalf of the National Hockey League. It is generally the case that a player reaching this significant milestone accepts a gift from the organization. However, in his typical selfless fashion, Yo has insisted on directing this gift to a charitable cause. On behalf of the Calgary Flames organization, Alvin Libben will now present Ole with a $25,000 check that will benefit the charity of Ole's choosing. Flames fans, before we conclude tonight's ceremony, we direct your attention again to the Energy Board for a closer look at some of the incredible work that Ole Jokinen has done for your Calgary Flames.
Trying to end it for the Flames. Jokinen, yes, he does!
Everybody gets knocked down. Everybody gets knocked down. How quick are you gonna get up? How quick are you gonna get up? Everybody gets knocked down. Everybody gets knocked down. How quick get up?
And he scores! Calgary wins the
Get
game.
up like Ali in the jungle, like Nelson in jail.
For Iginla to Jokinen, scores!
That's like that, they
Shot tip, they score! Beautifully executed, Ole Jokinen ties it!
like Adams in the dark, like Ludwig.
Back in the hot zone. Jokinen drives to that backhander. Scores! Ole Jokinen!
Congratulations, number 13, Ole Jokinen. 1,000 games played in the NHL. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise now, remove your hats, and join the singing voice of your Calgary Flames tonight, Heather Lascano, along with members of the Canadian Forces in the singing of tonight's national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so scantily streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada,
Olli Jokinen, over 1,000 games played. Jerome McGinley gunning for career goal 500. Brent Sutter looking for his 100th win as Flames head coach. But what the Flames really need tonight is 2 points. The catch is the Wild need them just as badly. Mark Lee and Darryl Ray in the broadcast booth. Mark.
And Scott, the Flames have had 48 hours to regroup after their 9-0 beatdown in Boston. Tonight they'll face a Wild team that has met with the worst reversal of fortune so far this season. Nicholas Backstrom will start for Minnesota. He made 41 saves to shut out Calgary 3-0 back in November, and he always plays well against the Flames with a 187 career goals against average. Mika Kiprusoff will go for Calgary in tonight's matchup of Finnish goaltenders. He's been the Flames anchorman this year, but he has lost his last 3 starts with an unlikely .304 goals against average. The men who will marshal tonight's proceedings, Chris Lee and Jean Hebert, as the first lines for both clubs go at it tonight. Devin Setoguchi back on the wing with Mikko Koivu and Danny Heatley, his second game back after missing a month. There's the first shot, and Setoguchi with a rebound chance there. He had 5 shots on goal in his first game back. That shutout loss to Vancouver, and he opens here looking very lethal. Nick Schultz rims it around the boards. Koivu gets it into the corner for Danny Heatley, who leads Minnesota with 12 goals so far this season. And now the Flames back up the ice. Curtis Glencross fanning on the shoot-in, and nearly caught with too many men on the ice, Calgary. Clayton Stoner back off the injured list for Minnesota. Backhands it in deep. Kiprusoff to Brody. Into the corner for the veteran Corey Saric. Poe trying to tie him up. And now Blake Como will bring it to center for Calgary. Como to the left side, repelled by Greg Zanin in transition now. Kyle Bradziak in, and his wrist shot misses high on the stick side of Kiprusoff. Como gets past Nick Johnson, steaming up the right wing for Calgary. Around the Minnesota net to the near side. Still on the puck, now has it knocked off his stick by Bradziak. Johnson chipping and chasing, trying to get behind Clay Wilson in the lineup tonight with Scott Hannon injured. That's the 11th defenseman that Calgary has dressed this season. Paul Byron pass into the skates of Wilson. He'll chip it in deep. Spurgeon along the boards. Zidliski keeps it coming back to Johnson. He's hemmed in, and they have to go the other way, Minnesota. Bounce pass gets by Wellman to center. Calgary's Brody, who was even in that 9-0 loss to Boston despite 25 minutes of ice time. Remarkable when you consider the 9 goals against.
Well, both teams want a game that moves north immediately and constantly, and the Wild have been doing that here in the first 2 minutes tonight. Immediately, their top line gets a glorious scoring opportunity. Setoguchi, you can see this thing's all going toward Mika Kiprusoff. Brent Sutter threw that pair out there. Butler and Bouwmeester had a rough night, along with a lot of others, in Boston for the first shift of the game, and then right after that they give up the 2-on-1. Bradziak missed by a smidge, trying to go top shelf. Their centers have done a lot of their scoring. They're strong down the middle with the Minnesota Wild.
Bradziak with 11 goals, second in goal scoring for Minnesota so far this year. Most of those have come, though, when he's been a checking forward and getting offensive opportunities. He tried to turn himself into a goal scorer with Koivu injured and then Setoguchi, and the goals did not come for him.
Well, they want to take the body. I think both these teams, you look at a game like this one here tonight, urgency and desperation on a Saturday night, and it can bring out the best in individuals. Puck goes away, finish your man, pretty violent collision, forechecking, and I don't think we're going to see an awful lot of the width of the rink used, especially early here tonight. It's all going to be straight up and straight back.
It's the 4th meeting of these Northwest Division rivals. Calgary with a 2-1 lead in the series. As Horak comes back to help out Clay Wilson, the puck dribbling to the side of the Calgary net. Gillies back to the point. Zanin's wrist shot misses by 4 feet. Pinching his Stoner to try to keep it deep. Jackman hacking away at the puck. Gillies firing it towards the net. It's repelled by Babchuk. And now Tom Kostopoulos will start out from his own corner as the Wild get a change on the fly. Horak, who's yet to score since being recalled, is dropped there by Zanin as he enters the Minnesota zone. Heatley playing it back to the far corner. Spurgeon Ahead to Danny Heatley, steaming across the line to the right wing. Setaguchi looking for Heatley, the one-time tap, the save, and a big rebound cleared just in time as Heatley steamed in.
Boy, the Wild are getting what they want here early on.
They're a puck pressure team that lost its way with injuries and perhaps reading a few press clippings, leading the National Hockey League in mid-December, and then in 3.5 weeks plummeting to the point where they're just 2 points ahead of 9th place Nashville coming in tonight.
So Mike Gill, their head coach, was talking about this morning. We need to get back to being us. As a team, as a group, check, play fast, straightforward lines. So far, so good.
Schultz back ahead of the puck in front of Ginla. And Brodziak will get it back in the Calgary zone. Darryl Poe hard on the forecheck, dropping Butler, turning the puck over. Poe in the corner for Minnesota now. Around behind the net, Brodziak camped in behind Kiprusoff. Now Bouwmeester takes him off the puck. It's turned over as Calgary starts back up ice. Here's Blair Jones, acquired in the trade this week with Tampa Bay for Brendan Mickelson. Gets his first shot on goal for Calgary.
Well, this D-corps for the Flames is in rough shape. Hannon, Giordano, Derek Smith all out. The mental anguish of that 9-0 loss and some heavy minuses. The guys on the left are the ones that are in here tonight. On the right, those that are on the shelf. Bouwmeester's playing his 549th consecutive game here tonight. The NHL leader as far as Ironman is concerned. And Giordano skated here this morning again. Looks like he's on the cusp of coming back in.
They think he might be back within the week from that hamstring injury.
Smith and Giordano are really missed for their puck moving ability and skating.
Wellman overskates the puck. Johnson picks it up. Saric, the veteran warrior, pressed back into service after being scratched 16 of 19 games. Working away on Nick Johnson, who finds Zanin at the right point. His shot right on, and Kiprusoff will hold on for a whistle as we rejoin Scott.
Okay, Mark, well, the Flames have 8 players on their injury list, and arguably the player they missed the most is the one you just mentioned, Mark Giordano, who suffered ruptured leg tendons on November 29th versus Nashville. At the time, he was said to be out indefinitely, so it's good news for the Flames that Giordano's practicing with the team, began skating just before Christmas. There is talk he could play next week whenever he returns. Won't be a moment too soon for the Flames.
Question about that, Scott, and Brent Sutter saying today that Giordano will need some more practice time, but looks terrific. He's a quick healer.
Must be tough for them not to hurry him back, though, with a litany of injuries that they have at that position.
Clay Wilson chips it along the boards. Kostopoulos up the right wing. Horak stopping up inside the line. Across to Kostopoulos. Can't get his shot through Spurgeon. And he'll throw it back into the corner. Scandella ahead for Colton Gillies. That first-round pick still struggling to find his form with Minnesota. Babchuk missed 23 games with a broken hand this year. Got that big shot on the right point for Calgary. Gets it in deep. They bang along the boards. Kostopoulos losing his edge. Koivu flipping it. It's knocked down at the point, but Jokinen couldn't keep it in.
It's like we're going to see these two top lines straight up against one another. At least so far we have.
Kept in by Butler. His shot just missing. Here's Curtis Glencross, who has been red hot. Perhaps the best forward for Calgary lately. On a pace for a 30-goal season after his breakout 24 goals last year. Spurgeon ahead to center. Koivu chipping it in. Here's Danny Heatley working hard on Butler. Hits him against the boards and forces the puck loose, but Koivu is checked by Jokinen. Back come the Flames. Again to Glencross across the line. Caught on the back check by Setaguchi.
I don't know that the Wild could be much better than they've been so far.
Great work ethic. Heatley to Koivu in a shot, and a glove save by Kiprusoff as Heatley gets the stick up in front of the net. But the big line's going toe-to-toe early here in Calgary in a scoreless first period so far.
Please welcome back to the Scotiabank family of your big country ice crew. Now, throughout the season, we've been helping you to get to know the ice crew, and tonight, very proud to introduce.
For Brent Sutter, an excellent coach, reading the game and motivating players would be the strengths and the usual focus, but with a piecemeal lineup, young players, and stinging from that 9-0 loss at Boston, his focus shifted to defensive zone basics on video and with their work to just try to compartmentalize what they're supposed to do in their own zone. it looks here early, and I know it's difficult to come back from extended road trips, whether you were successful on them or not, but they look like they've got some lingering issues in the first few minutes of this one.
Opening a 4-game homestand after that 7-game road trip during the World Junior Tournament here in Calgary and Edmonton. Butler across the line, dropping for Glenn Cross. His shot wide. And coming around and out into the neutral zone, chasing it is Koivu with Heatley and Setaguchi. Koivu fumbling the puck, gets it ahead to Heatley now. Checked by Glenn Cross, behind the net Setaguchi. Lost it momentarily, it's in front of the Calgary net and scooped up by Glenn Cross. To center for the Flames. Curtis Glencross dropping it for Iginla. Iginla snapshot tipped by Glencross and a save by Backstrom. Iginla again with a shot. Rebound chance by Jokinen, and Backstrom tested early. Iginla another shot, and this time the rebound covered up. Jerome Iginla with 3 cracks at .500 here in the first.
He scored 5 goals in his last 5 home games, so if he's going to get it, you suspect he's going to get it in this building. The Wild have been getting some good opportunities playing power on power. This is the first time the Jokinen line has been able to counterpunch. They get a couple of real good looks at Backstrom, including that last pump from Jerome Iginla.
Getting back to Brent Sutter, that 9-0 loss was his worst as a head coach in Calgary, but he didn't raise his voice in the post-game scrum with the media and made all of the Flames sit in their stalls until the media came into the room and had their interviews.
You know what was interesting about that meet the press thing after was as much a player deal as it was the head coach. Corey Sarich was one of the veteran leaders that told them all that, guys, we're going to show some accountability, sit in our stalls and take our medicine.
And they took their lumps. They're now trying to dig back out. 41 points in the first 41 games. As Scott mentioned, they need 56 points in the next 40. They hit that 97 mark, which was the cutoff in the West with Chicago last year. Cal Clutterbuck will get it inside the Calgary zone. Kiprasov keeps it coming around for Brody. Cut off by Brodziak. Jones knocked hard to the ice by Brodziak. As Minnesota getting back on that work ethic game of theirs. Puck pressure as that deflects out over the end glass for a whistle. Well, Tuesday night, fasten your seatbelts for the series premiere of an exciting new drama. It's called Arctic Air, starring Adam Beach. Tune in Tuesday night at 9 on CBC TV.
When the Wild are on their game, and they certainly were for a long stretch at the beginning of the season, they frustrate the opponent and give them very little, and that's what they're doing so far here tonight.
Blake Como trying to get away from Brodziak, and he does, using his speed to center ice for Calgary. Flicks it off the back of Blair Jones' legs. It's kept in by Babchuk at the line.
You can see what Calgary wants to do, get it in behind and then get after him, but that's not been easy.
Jones gloves it, then couldn't come up with the puck as Poe flips it back down the ice. Babchuk touched it up, icing the call against Minnesota.
It's been a robust physical start for the Wild too, as they've gone after the Flames here on their home ice physically. Yeah, it's no trespass zone in their own end. They've been fairly consistent with physicality on their forecheck, and as usual, Clutterbuck kind of leading the way.
Brodziak facing the Jokinen, Iginla, Glencross line. Clutterbuck trying to chop it away. It's kept in by Butler. A soft wrist shot is gloved by Nick Backstrom.
Nick Backstrom's an interesting story for them. You talked about his numbers against the Flames in 30 games, a goals against average under 2 and an excellent save percentage of .933. Last year when his numbers dipped a little bit, he actually felt he played some of his best goal of his career. They don't give up the odd man chances that they did a year ago. They're a pretty tight defensive unit. Scoring seems to be their biggest issue.
Well, he's been almost unbeatable here in Calgary. He has a great record in Edmonton as well. Loves playing in Alberta. Koivu throwing it right through the Calgary goal mouth. Holmeister ahead to Glencross. Blind pass picked up by Jokinen. Ahead to Iginla. Jerome Iginla trying to get in behind Zidliski. Zidliski played in the corner. Schultz up the boards. Again kept in at the point by Butler. Iginla dropping it to the half boards. Jokinen back to the corner. Iginla trying to get away from Zidliski, who chops it to Glencross. Back to the point. Holmeister, a howitzer shot and a glove save.
Artistic stop by Backstrom there on a sizzler from 60 feet. I wonder how much this top line for the Flames is going to end up playing here tonight. It's pretty obvious that Mike Yeo and the Wild are going to have to play a couple of lines against them. Glencross, Jokinen, again. All three are double-digit goal scorers for Calgary. Bork is the only other Flame who has 10 or more goals.
You saw that line from our stats man Dave Moyer. 6-0 for Backstrom in Calgary over the last 3 years, including 3 shutouts and a half a goal a game goals against average.
You're going to win a few games when you keep it that low.
Scrum drop, bouncing puck, chopped to the corner. Colton Gillies leaving it there. Now Roman Horak has his stick lifted by Stoner. Horak back on the puck, chipping it to the point. Rink wide pass to Clay Wilson. Nowhere to shoot there, so he throws it along the boards. Calgary trying to scrape some action here inside the Minnesota zone. Babchuk with that big shot off a skate, deflecting wide. Roman Horak behind the net now. Pass back over the stick of Jackman. Clay Wilson going back to Babchuk. To Wilson. Now he's got some room. Now back to Babchuk at the right side. Steadying the puck. Back and forth they go with it. Wilson off the shin pad of Jackman. And along the boards it comes. Kostopoulos feeding it to the high slot. Jackman can't reach it as Warren Peters drills it into his own bench for a whistle. The shot 7-7. No score as we reach the midway mark of the first period.
Who was it again? It's Blair Jones, right? Blair Jones' phone rang at 10:30 yesterday morning in Montreal. It was Tampa Bay GM Steve Yzerman to tell him he'd been traded to Calgary. Jones is in our Subway bio, and he got his welcome to a Canadian team this morning, surrounded by media. As he comes to the team, he cheered for growing up in Craig, Saskatchewan, and when he played for Brent Sutter in Red Deer. Actually, Sutter traded him from Red Deer midway through the 04-05 season. Jay Feaster eventually drafted Jones in Tampa Bay and reacquired him yesterday, Mark.
And Brent Sutter saying he likes the fact he's a big physical center, and they need some help down the middle here in Calgary with Stajan and Morrison both out right now.
And maybe overall trying to get a little bit bigger and grittier at that position.
And don't forget David Moss as well. He's been hurt for most of this season. Brody leads it for Saric. He'll set up shop behind Kiprasov and put it right through the goal mouth up the left side. Brody to the right wing. There's Michael Backlund. Backlund's shot, sharp angle, stopped by Backstrom. In behind the net now. Lance Boma wraparound try. Jamming away the Flames at the side of the net. It's still loose and it goes to the corner. Saric pinching in deep for Calgary. Backlund ahead. To the point it comes. Brody. Rink wide. Saric off the boards. Throws it deep again. Lee Stempniak picks it up in the corner for the Flames. Stempniak all the way to the blue line. Back in deep. Lance Boma called up for Calgary from Abbotsford. Has it go off the stick in behind the Minnesota net. Spurgeon ahead to Nick Johnson. Off the skates of Bellman. And then he finally chops it to center.
Seen the depth lines a little bit here the last few shifts. The Flames are starting to get their legs.
8 injured players and their third leading scorer, Rene Bourque, serving a suspension. Tough times here in Calgary as Poe is hit hard by the freight train Saric. Blair Jones chipping it. Brody rink wide to center looking for Blake Como. It's chipped back ahead to Clutterbuck. To Brodziak looking for Poe as this third line for Minnesota gets something going. Harold Poe around the net for Brodziak. Keeping it back behind the net for Poe. Chipping it to the goal mouth and covered by Kiprasov.
Little foray back into the Flame zone for Mike Yeo's Wild. You know, you look at the erosion of details that come when you can't practice that much. You know, the players grasped and excelled in Yeo's new system almost immediately, and then they stumbled with success. You alluded to that a little bit. You know, how do you handle the fact you're first overall in the NHL when there were no expectations heading into the season? The injuries piled up and very little practice time, and that's why they cut short the bonding in Banff and went with practices.
And Mike Yeo now has his first line together again, and that third checking unit centered by Brodziak. There's a shot right on, stopped by Kiprasov. So he's got two big pieces back together. And as he told us this morning, he had so many guys playing out of position, playing the wrong roles during the injury streak that took players like Setaguchi and Wellman and even Koivu for 4 games out of the lineup.
Isn't that the case over and over, though? Once you get people back, everybody gets back into the right minutes, right spots, things fall back in place, wins start to pile up again.
Bouwmeester back first, off the boards. Jokinen having trouble with it. Now he regains control of the puck, winds up the ice as Minnesota's in the middle of a change to center. Jokinen slaloming his way inside the zone, dropping it now for Iginla. Backhand pass in front is broken up as Brad Staubitz leads the charge, with Spurgeon joining the rush. As it knocked off his stick, Peters picks it up. The former Flame can't get it through traffic, and now countering is Glenn Cross with some support from Clay Wilson, who's all the way in deep behind the goal line.
But 2 real good plays by Wilson. One at his own blue line when the top line for the Flames were trapped deep. Nobody was high. And then to join the rush going the other way. Good stuff.
Journeyman Clay Wilson, who started a decade ago at Michigan Tech and then made a trip through 6 minor league teams en route to Calgary here. Here's Jackman, paddle down save by Backstrom, and it gets over the stick of T.J. Brody. At center, Roman Horak doubling back with Saric for Brody, veteran and his protege. They get it deep again. Backstrom off the glass, stopped by Nick Johnson. Bouncing it deep into the Calgary zone, and Brody races for it. Icing waved off at the last second. Wellman on him. Saric turns it over to Johnson, shoveling it along the boards. Casey Wellman now at the half wall. Back for Johnson. He's plowed to the ice by Corey Saric. Tom Kostopoulos ahead to Brody, firing it in deep and heading for a change. And a penalty coming here. An elbowing call back behind the play. Not sure who it's going to. Looks like Calgary. Yes, it's Brody headed to the box. Minnesota on the power play when we come back. For elbowing on this play.
Bit of a flying chicken wing right at center ice on Darryl Powell, and got picked up by the officiating. So a struggling Wild power play gets on the job here. This is one area they really need.
1 power play goal in their last 10 games, so they've got to get something going. 1 for 26, and the opportunity here. Koivu, Heatley, and Brodziak up front. Cullen on the right side with Zaglisky on the left point for Minnesota. Butler and Bouwmeester on defense. Como and Blair Jones starting the PK. Cullen to the circle. Zaglisky a shot right on, and a save by Kiprasov as the Flames get it down the ice.
There's an example of what they talked about wanting to do, which is outwork the penalty killers. They did that to gain the puck. Change the point of attack to the far side and get the big shot from the point. Shoot more.
Koivu enters the zone, gets the shot right on, and a glove save by Kiprasov, tested early on this Minnesota power play.
Yeah, these 2 Finnish netminders have been touched up a little bit lately, have been sparkling here early on. Little fake slapper, gain a shooting lane. Smart move by Colin Zidlitsky, who's one of the individuals they need to step up, especially in this area. He's been a real good power play rear guard in past. He hasn't had a very good season so far this year.
Koivu gets the draw. Zidlitsky to Cullen, no shot as he tries to get around Glenn Cross. Into the corner, turning away from Butler to the point. Heatley to the circle. Zidlitsky has right back to Cullen, knocks it out of the air, getting it deep. Brodziak being pressed by Bouwmeester along the boards. Comes free. Heatley banging away. And it gets by Cullen at the right side. Calgary getting a quick change. Zidlitsky waiting for fresh skaters as Setaguchi steps on the ice, joining Heatley. And along the blue line, it's Clutterbuck for Minnesota. Saric picks it up along the boards, nearly turns it over. Kostopoulos picks up the loose puck in his own end. And he'll fire it off the glass 200 feet down the ice.
Flames penalty killing, maybe it's not great as far as their standing in the league, but it can be very good when they pressure and do it as one, in concert with one another. We saw an example of that when we were in Edmonton, and they shut down that Oiler power play when it was rolling.
They can be a very powerful team when they play a physical hockey game. Back to the point it comes. Jared Spurgeon along the blue line. Cullen's shot blocked up high by Kostopoulos. Spurgeon leaves it for Clutterbuck. Attacking the high slot with a wrist shot that goes high into the glass. Wellman along the boards. Leaves it in the corner. Clutterbuck down low. In front for Setaguchi and smothered by Kiprusoff.
That was close. This is a sly little play by Devin Setaguchi. Kind of a covert operation coming from behind the net. They gain the puck in the battle in the corner, and then Clutterbuck finds him. Setaguchi almost, I think he was half worried about being draped all over
Look at that.
Kiprusoff, and at the same time half celebrating, thinking it might have snuck in. Good look at it here. That was close. Had to click the heels that time to make sure it didn't climb its way in.
Off the draw, Flames get possession. Wilson up to Glenn Cross, chipping it back for Jokinen. He's bumped by Peters. Flames will get it deep again as they kill off their first penalty of the hockey game. Glenn Cross has it get by him to Stoner. Along the boards, flipped by Nick Johnson, not out, kept in by Jokinen. He chips it back in deep again. Stoner around the boards. This time it's out. Powell lets it get by him in deep. Wilson, a bounce pass behind his own net, picked up by Babchuk. Journeyman ahead to Glenn Cross at center, a long stretch pass, too far for Jokinen. Backstrom along the boards, cut off by Stempniak. He's checked on the play as Heatley gets it out. Marco Scandella, checked by Saric. Here's a turnover. Stempniak, a 2-on-1 with Glenn Cross. Stempniak shoots short side, and the stop by Backstrom. It's kept in now. Saric in deep. Backlund shot, whistles wide. Wild Setaguchi drags it out back just inside the Calgary line as Saric is back to take care of that.
Where the Flames have really firmed up at their own blue line. That's a few times where their defensemen have held the line, made a play, and gone the other direction.
Clayton Stoner, pressed by Backlund, kicks it along the boards. Down goes Stempniak, Koivu on him and picks up the loose puck. To the near side, Bomeister pinching in deep, he goes down. Puck gets behind him, covered by Boma though. He fires it in deep again. Stempniak with the puck on his stick, tries to center it. It goes behind the net to Boma in the near side. He's pressed along the boards by Stoner. You hear the official saying, move that puck, move your feet.
They got their directions.
Puck comes loose to the half wall. Lee Stempniak towards the net, now back to the point. Chris Butler, wrist shot, deflecting just wide, knocked down by Stempniak. Stopped again as he tried to center it by Backstrom. Butler, far side, Bomeister's shot whistles wide. Now Stempniak gets it free, Backlund shot, rebound, Lance Boma can't find it. It's kept in at the line by Butler.
Boy, this deep pair is gassed for the Wild right now.
Zanin fighting for it, can't get it out. Final minute of this first period. Big pressure, Lee Stempniak wraparound, and a paddle down save by Nick Backstrom.
That's three good chances for Stempniak on this shift.
Now Kostopoulos with the puck. Butler to Kostopoulos and along the boards with it. Koivu shadowing him in front off a skate, and diving on the puck is Nicholas Backstrom.
Wow. A mauling late in the period. It all stemmed from an excellent defensive play. Nice read by Saric to pick the pocket. They go the other direction. Lee Stempniak, who they desperately need to find his scoring touch again, gets the first bid, another one, and there was another one mixed in there as well. No goals in the last 14 games for him. Scored 4 goals in the previous 7 games, and he's one of those individuals, there's plenty of them in the National Hockey League, that are streaky, and confidence has a lot to do with it.
Minnesota started this game out shooting Calgary 5-1, and now it's 12-4 Calgary ever since. 40 seconds to go in the period, and Clutterbuck gets it to center and chips and chases. Powell to the front of the net. Clutterbuck with a big hit on Corey Sarich. Powell picks up the loose puck, and we've got a penalty here.
We got at least the initial one, and that might be the only one.
Looks like an interference call coming here.
Even though Clutterbuck got punched in the head by Sarich right after this.
Cal Clutterbuck is headed to the penalty box for interference after railroading Sarich on that race for the puck.
He's the best example of onomatopoeia in the National Hockey League. And yeah, the puck was long gone, and in it went. My 4th grade English teacher, Mrs. Runchke in Prince George, BC, would be very proud of me using that.
So 29.3 seconds to go in the first period. Clutterbuck in the box for interference, and Calgary with the 18th best power play in the NHL going to work. They were blanked 5 times in the power play during their 7-game road trip.
They have lots of shooters, but do they have enough playmakers on it?
McGinley back to the point. Bouwmeester working the line. Far side for Brody, back to Bouwmeester. McGinley camped at the circle, but the pass from Bouwmeester doesn't get there.
Well, I think everybody would be guilty on a night like this again to force passes to Jerome McGinley.
Everybody, their eyes on number 12 here tonight as he seeks his 500th NHL goal. Spurgeon bouncing it to center ice. Brody back ahead of Matt Cullen. Steadies the puck as the horn sounds to end the opening period. Calgary out shooting Minnesota 13-9, but no score after 1. Scott?
Mark, coast to coast coming up in our first intermission. A physical start for the Wild. The Flames got going midway through the period. We'll talk to Olli Jokinen when we come back to Scotiabank Saddledome.
Lovely January evening in Calgary. The Flames starting the second period on the power play with 1:31 to go in the interference penalty to Cal Clutterbuck. The Flames 0 for 23 on the power play in their last 7 games against Minnesota. Chance to break out of that drought here tonight. Here's Bouwmeester bouncing it behind the net to the far corner. Jokinen back and forth with Curtis Glencross. Jokinen now comes to the half wall. There's Bouwmeester down deep to the corner. In front, gets away from McGinley, who is lurking at the circle again. Jerome McGinley seeking his 500th career goal here tonight. He's had 33 in his career against Minnesota. Bouwmeester to McGinley. His snapshot blocked by Spurgeon. He knocks it out of the air along the boards and fires it the length of the ice.
I mean, he's a generous 5'9", but he plays a pretty big game for the Minnesota Wild. Good play by Spurgeon.
Here comes Jokinen now. Setting up the half boards away from Koivu. A bounce pass to Bouwmeester. Wrist shot! And it glances just wide in front. With a crowd in front of Kiprusoff. And a penalty coming here. A hooking call to Calgary as Curtis Glencross pleads his case all the way to the penalty box.
Well, he was the guy who got his stick on that wrist shot from the point. And then right after it, they were trying to 2-on-1 Stoner in behind the net. Little hook. You see the ref's arm in the background. And that changes the complexion of this completely. Not only do they get a face-off down at the other end, they're going to end up with a power play here in a half a minute.
32 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey. Setaguchi in the circle with Backlund. Against Ladrana Stempniak, who finished that first period with a 2-minute 10-second shift. Here's a blast. Scandella didn't get all of that, and it goes wide of the Calgary net. Stempniak losing the puck. It's kept in, though, at the line. Scandella towards the net, blocked by Chris Butler. Jared Spurgeon leading along the boards. Casey Wellman fires his tip right through the goal mouth. And Setaguchi lost his edge and is slow back to the Minnesota bench. Backlund at the circle. His shot, a big rebound, bouncing at the side of the net. Butler down low for Calgary. Stempniak throwing it the length of the ice. And Clutterbuck out of the box now and charging hard in front of Kiprusoff. Butler shoveled it, couldn't get it by. It's kept in at the line on the clearing attempt by Bouwmeester at the line. Heatley keeps it in. Now Clutterbuck with the puck. Dropping it. Rink wide. Matt Cullen for Zidliski. Back to Cullen at the line. Zidliski off the skate in front. Pass Heatley. Koivu off the skate of Butler, who knocks it to the line but not out. Cullen tries to drop it. It's stopped by Blake Como, who fences it down the ice.
You read that well. Como didn't play much in the first period. That's Good penalty coming right there to anticipate what the player's going to do. Right in his grill.
Blair Jones with a hit to finish his shift as the Wild come up the ice. Koivu for Heatley, trying to get it through the legs of Sarge. Pounds it behind the Calgary net. Back to the corner it comes. Loose puck picked up by Kostopoulos. Head to Lance Boma. He'll get it deep and head for a quick change. 20 seconds to go in the Wild power play. Cullen hauling it to center ice to the left wing. Heatley across the Calgary line. In front, tip right on goal by Setaguchi. And Kiprusoff with a quick save.
Boy, that probably shouldn't happen. The Flames got focused on the puck and not the player breaking to the net. Watch the left-hand side of the screen. Little half slapper. I mean, in behind Bouwmeester, who was just staring at him. Great save again by Kiprusoff. There's that hot shot from Backlund at the other end that Backstrom spit back. You know, you got two of the elite goaltenders, high-money netminders in the National Hockey League going head-to-head, and they're showing why, I think, here tonight. Tough to beat.
Setaguchi and Heatley, two good Alberta boys from Tabor. Setaguchi and Calgary for Heatley. In front of some Alberta fans here tonight as Glenn Cross gets back on the ice. One shot on goal in that short-lived Wild power play. Backlund scoops it up at center. Backhands it, gets it inside the line on Spurgeon, but a hand pass and a face-off.
Backlund's another one of those individuals they really need to find his game once again. He's a talented guy, promising, but really the Flames need him to arrive like right now. The broken finger set him back a little bit. Just 3 goals on the season. 2 of those were on power plays. A heavy minus. They need the depth scoring. They need something underneath that top line.
He was penciled into that first line to start the season before he got that broken finger in practice. They say he's been too timid.
Confidence is such a big thing, especially with young players. And
icing the call against Minnesota as Babchuk touches it up, but he's still young. He's only 22.
Maybe getting Boma gives him a little bit of size and snarl on that line, can open up some space. Yeah, you know, they have some talent. They've been pushing some of the younger guys into their lineup almost through stealth and a little bit due to injury.
Blair Jones gets the draw. Back to the point he comes. Babchuk shot through traffic. Pad saved by Backstrom. Nick Johnson centers it to Brodziak. Takes it across the line. He's checked by Babchuk. Back at center. Clayton Stoner fires it around the glass. Clay Wilson in the corner to his partner Babchuk, who fans on the clearing attempt. Brodziak back down low. Nick Johnson in front of the wraparound chance. Where is it? It's cleared as Kiprusoff lost his stick and had it sent back to him. Babchuk headmans the puck. Back pass. Byron for a long shot by Blair Jones and a routine save for Backstrom.
Both goaltenders have handled that cram stuff pretty good here tonight. The latest to attempt one of those wraparounds is Nick Johnson. Lots of time and space, and most defenders want to force a guy on his backhand, not his forehand. See Wilson and Babchuk, the 2 defensemen, both got tied up on the other post, opened up a lane.
Koivu wins another draw. It was 13-5 the face-offs in favor of Minnesota in the first period as Calgary's struggles in the circle continue. Setaguchi winds and fires off the stick of Bouwmeester to the inboards. A quick shot for Sharpenko. A wraparound attempt by Setaguchi, stopped by Kiprusoff as this line was flying, and a couple of good chances there. Down to Scott.
Mark, lack of depth had a lot to do with the tough start the Wild are going through, so Minnesota management and coaches can't help but anticipate what's on the way, and they saw their future in the World Junior Tournament. Wild had 6 draft picks there, including 3 captains. Michael Granlund, who gave Finland a chance to win, Jason Zucker of the USA, who impressed with his speed and shot, and Johan Larsson of Sweden, who plays an impressive all-round game and had something to do with Sweden winning gold. So there's a lot for the Wild to look forward to.
Flames get it to center. Wojtowski to his partner Nick Schultz. Icing waved off as the Wild continue to barge in hard on that forecheck against Calgary. Stoppage behind the net, cut off by Saric. Around the boards, Stopoulos takes it out of the air, but it's not out. A pad save on a low shot from the point. Jackman can't center that. Knocked out of the air. Staubitz reached inside offside, and now they push and shove. Peters in the mix. Saric is there along with Jackman. Some tough customers.
There ever. A little animosity. Jackman was a good one. Trying to impact this game with the physicality a little bit from their side.
Take this moment to remind you Monday night, don't miss the series premiere of the new comedy Mr. D and the new series Redemption Incorporated with Kevin O'Leary. It all starts Monday at 8 on CBC TV. Backlund in the circle with Matt Cullen.
Wellman and Stempniak are having quite the joust.
Stempniak kicks it back to Babchuk, who flips it high inside the Wild zone. Jared Spurgeon, long stretch pass knocked down by Backlund. And he'll try it again on that two-line pass.
Little Spurgeon's such a great story. He's basically earned his way to the National Hockey League. All the questions about his size, you know, he's elfin. Again, 5'7" is probably around what it is, but with Daryl Sador, former NHL defenseman and Stanley Cup winner, and Rick Wilson and behind their bench, you got two former NHL D-men who believe in him, have helped him in different ways, and he never seems to get out-muscled or out-maneuvered. He's a smart guy. If you're going to be that size, you have to be.
In the shape of a lot of things to come in defensive core in this league.
Look at him again.
Got the puck on a stick. Nice pass ahead to Clutterbuck. Drifting it inside the line. Brodziak takes it away from Wilson. Clutterbuck pressed along the board. Goes down in front of Babchuk. Powell now battling for it. And a penalty coming to Babchuk. A delayed call here after he swallowed that Wild player. Trying to get a whistle. It's a roughing call.
So Clutterbuck draws one after taking one in the opening period. A bucketless Clutterbuck will gather himself. And because of a little over-exuberance more than anything else, and a one-on-one in the corner, and a full public mauling there, I think Clutterbuck was on his way down anyway. And another opportunity for this Wild power play to get off the schneid.
1 for 27, the Wild power play. Looking for its first power play goal in 5 games. Koivu the draw. Zidliski a wrist shot that misses. Rebound out the backboards, backhanded wide by Heatley. Koivu digging for the puck. Brodziak, a bounce pass to the point, a bouncing shot from Matt Cullen that deflects over the end boards.
Up on end. You were talking about the face-offs in the opening period, and you know, you look at it, and the Wild's top 3 center icemen, Koivu, Cullen, and Brodziak, are all over 50%. Then you go on the other side, and Brendan Morrison is the only center for the Calgary Flames who's over 50%. Staging's their second best, and both are injured. So it's trouble for them in the puck possession off draws here tonight.
Jokinen 0 for 4 in the first period. Backlund 0 for 2.
Boy, Cullen has really had problems keeping pucks in at the point on their power play. Been wise by the Flames to hammer it toward him.
Cullen now ahead for Brodziak, cut off at the pass by Backlund, who chops it back to center. Brodziak quickly across to Cullen, attacking the Calgary zone, chipping it behind Bouwmeester. Gets it to the far corner. Brodziak shovels it back to the point. Spurgeon winds, fires, blocked by Glencross, right back to Spurgeon. Across to Cullen. Spurgeon waits, far side, shot by Koivu, rebound, Brodziak, they jam away, it's still loose, Cullen trying to do some spade work, and Butler down in the crease with Kiprusoff as they finally freeze the puck.
Look at the strength of Mika Kiprusoff in tight to hold on to that with his pads. Big block by Glencross up top, and it goes right back to Spurgeon, and then they start finding lanes. Look at the work that Kiprusoff has to put in to try to see past Brodziak, and then it pays to stretch. Full split, holds him off 3 times. A massive humanity on his doorstep afterward.
Backlund showing a little grit there to come to the aid of his netminder. Spurgeon moving the puck, dropping it now. Wellman's shot blocked by Jokinen, looking at a pass on that play. Now Sharks throws it around the boards. Candela gets there quickly. Back into the corner with it. Setaguchi back along the boards to the left point. Scandella settles the puck across to Spurgeon. Back to Marco Scandella. Setting up Setaguchi. His shot deflects off Saric's stick and out of play. 30 seconds to go in the power play.
Setaguchi's had chances here again tonight. He had 5 shots on goal in their shutout loss in Vancouver. They acquired Heatley and Devin Setaguchi in large part for their empty the clip mentality. The Wild were outshot nightly last season, and Heatley came into play tonight leading them in shots on goal. Setaguchi's had at least 4 or 5 good looks so far here tonight.
6 scoring chances in Vancouver in that shutout loss. They're still the second lowest scoring team in the NHL. Bolmeister can't get it out. Koivu rink wide for Cullen. Cullen with a nice move on Jones. Goes to the goal line around the net. Still on the puck. Saucer pass. Heatley a shot. Big rebound as Kiprasov is knocked to the ice by Setaguchi with some aid from Corey Saric. Final seconds of the penalty to Babchuk. 5 shots on goal. The power play's over. Setaguchi's pass intercepted by Blake Como. Swirling in his own zone. Now he heads up ice. Como, stick check at center. Clutterbuck can't reach the puck, and Bolmeister bounces it deep, icing waved off. Backstrom leaves it for Schultz. He's hammered by Como. At the side of the net, the puck comes to the corner now. At the point, E.J. Brody into the corner. The captain, Jerome Iginla, away from Brodziak. Iginla, a bounce pass to the point. Butler shot, hits someone in front, bounces to Powell, and he takes a shot as he manages to clear it down the ice.
Goes right after Como, who clocked him with Iginla on the other side.
Iginla again, ahead. Como, a sniping shot into the glove of Backstrom on a shot that was going wide. Still no score. 11:28 to go here in the second period. The Sea of Red in full force here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Most anticipating Jerome Iginla's 500th goal tonight, but he's yet to get a shot on goal, and we're at the halfway mark of the game.
There's a long conversation during that break amongst the line mates, Glenn Cross and Jokinen. First goal against Kirk McLean and the Canucks back in '96. Next one will be 500, and will make him the first Flame to score all 500 with the organization.
One of only 15 NHL players ever to do that. Some pretty distinguished company. Richard, Beliveau, Gretzky, Lemieux, Sakic, Modano. Blair Jones wins the draw. Como puts it deep behind the net. Jones banging for it. Bannon gets it ahead. Clutterbuck on to Brodziak, takes a shot, and a glove save with Darryl Powell going hard to the net. He's had a burr under his saddle ever since Como was agitating him.
Right, and Blake Como just took another run at somebody at the end of the Flames bench, so trying to jar a little bit of emotion maybe into this game here tonight. It's still searching for its first goal, and if there's an area both these teams are struggling with right now, it's finding the net.
And Como's been running around, took a shot at Clutterbuck.
Of all people.
Powell. Stabitz can't get it. Past Babchuk. Patiently ahead to Horak, and it's chipped out by Jackman. Zablisky quickly back in his own zone. Away from Kostopoulos along the boards. At center. Stabitz gets it to Warren Peters. Peters shot. Missing glove side. Kostopoulos into the skates of Roman Horak. Horak trying to get himself untracked since coming back. No goals in 11 games since being recalled from the minors. Holden Gillies can't get the shot through. Turns it over. Kostopoulos heading up ice. Caught by Warren Peters on the back check. Scandella. Headmans to Stabitz. He gives it up to Babchuk, and it's chopped back down the ice by Kostopoulos. Back and forth. Rappy hockey. Wilson in the corner, turns it over. Koivu centering attempt, chopped away by Wilson. Now Jokinen in the corner, checked by Koivu. Heatley with the puck, tries to center it. Koivu, or rather Jokinen blocking that. A now Ginla starts the rush with Curtis Glencross. His pass to the right wing. Jokinen has it wiped away by Scandella. Now Heatley. Backhand pass. Setaguchi. Stick check by Bouwmeester. Back the other way comes Calgary. Glencross waits. Rink wide pass for Ginla. Broken up by Setaguchi.
Boy, good read by Devin Setaguchi. That lane was there, and Ginla was waiting for it.
Koivu loses the puck across the line. Here comes Calgary counterattacking. Jokinen dropping it now. Bouwmeester shot that just misses. Wide open far side of the Minnesota net.
Good net drive by Glencross to open up some ice and create the screen in front of the net.
Michael Backlund with some jump ahead to Lee Stempniak across the line. Stempniak into the corner, a backhand pass through the slot. Back to the point. Sarge fakes the shot from the half wall. A shot right into the glove and out of the trapper of Backlund. It's chipped back to center. Sarge has it chopped back in the zone. Macy Wellman backing into the neutral zone as Minnesota lays off the forecheck. Transformer shot right up high and maybe into the head of Greg Zanin as he goes down in a heap and appears to be no worse for wear as he holds on to his beak.
Easy for you to say.
Wiping off the windshield, but looks like he's okay.
Almost ended up with impromptu rhinoplasty. He loves to block shots, but I'm sure he doesn't want to use his face. Look at the visor. That's where he took it. Prior to that, here's that great defensive play by Devin Setaguchi right in the middle of the slot. Not just watching the puck, looking over his shoulder, good awareness of where Jerome Ginla was and broke it up.
Off the draw, Blair Jones in the corner. Pocket picked by Nick Schultz, and Clutterbuck sends it just inside the Calgary line. Como back, chopped out by Brody to center. Eric Zidliski takes a hit from Paul Byron, but gets it deep. Kiprasov out to stop it. He's checked behind the net by Brodziak, centering attempt. Here comes Clutterbuck, a loose puck in front, and Powell couldn't find it in time. Brody can't get it out. Clutterbuck in deep, cut off by TJ Brody. He'll play it ahead to Como across the Minnesota line. Bouncing it behind the net. Byron to the point. Brody just kept it in as he bobbled it. Backstrom can't hold on. Harold Powell chopping away at the puck, and it's just out as Blake Como had trouble holding onto it. He'll fire it right back in. Zidliski takes a hit from Roman Horak. Kostopoulos is digging as well. Horak with the puck on the pass from Kostopoulos. Back to the point. Clay Wilson hits Horak in the leg, and it's a race now as Wilson is back in front of Nick Johnson. Wilson off the boards, waiting for it. The near side is Jackman. He's cut off by Warren Peters. Now the Muckers are back on the ice. Knocked down by Jackman, right on goal. Backstrom clears it. Scandella, quick pass to his partner. Jared Spurgeon plays it off the official, right back to himself, then across to Scandella. Chipping it hard, stopped by Kiprasov with Colton Gillies on the doorstep of this scoreless hockey game in Calgary.
It happened on Hockey Night, presented by McDonald's. Vote for your favorite moments online and relive them every Saturday night.
Back in Calgary, where the Flames are trying to end a 5-game losing streak. The Wild have lost 10 of their last 11, trying to get their ship righted. Shot 17-17, and something's got to give. McGinley in the circle, loses the draw to Koivu. Back to Scandella, firing it around the boards. Heatley is there behind the net. Danny Heatley leaves it along the boards for Devin Setaguchi to Koivu. His one-timer is blocked by Glencross. And then Jokinen is checked at center ice.
Setaguchi again, good hustle.
Good back pressure.
Yeah.
By this Minnesota team, which was the hallmark of the first couple of months of their season.
This top line for the Wild that's played straight up a lot against the Ginla and company hasn't given them much, and they're getting their good looks at the other end.
Pass broken up by Glencross. Jokinen checked by Koivu. The two first lines real close checking between them. Bouwmeester to the left side. Glencross winds and fires right into the midsection of Nicholas Backstrom, who holds on for a whistle.
talked with Curtis Glencross this morning. He loves playing here in Calgary. And for him, time on the ice is really key. He said that 15 minutes isn't enough to keep you in the game. 20 minutes is perfect, and that's about what he's been playing lately. And 24 is too much because you don't have the energy. He plays in every situation for Brent Sutter. Penalty killing, power play, and a lot of minutes with that line.
He's got the best shooting percentage in the NHL right now at 23.2.
It just went down as he buried that one in the tummy of Backstrom.
12 points in his last 14 games. He's on a tear. Might get to 30 this year at that rate. In behind the net now. Wellman tries to get it back. Cut off by Saric. And now TJ Brody throws it up the middle of the ice to center. Stoner across to Zanin, back to Clayton Stoner. Rink wide pass too far for Nick Johnson. He's out of gas and heads for a change. TJ Brody skating smoothly ahead to Lee Stempniak across the line. Chipping it to the slot. A bouncing puck that Backlund nearly got to. In transition now, it's Clutterbuck at full speed. Across to Stoner, and offside was Powell on the play. We'll take a break. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada from Calgary, Alberta.
Scoreless game here in Calgary, and the Wild come in 1 point ahead of last year at the same point with exactly the same win total. 22 fewer goals scored. Yeah, better defensively, but they've scored over 2 goals only twice in their last 11 games. And they're stuck at 0 here again tonight. They've had some pretty good looks, especially from their top line. Their power play has gone all but silent.
And they don't live on big margins. More than half of their games have been decided by 1 goal. Here's a turnover from Saric, and the snapshot from Clutterbuck hits the stick of Brody going wide. In behind the net, Brodziak pouncing on it. Leaves it for Powell. He's taken to the boards by Blair Jones. Powell trying to get it behind the net. It comes back along the near side. Clutterbuck along the boards, mucking in front of Saric. Gets it to Powell. Return pass away from Brodziak in the corner, and Saric, those heavy hits. Now he goes down. Brodziak, this rekindled third checking line. Puck comes free up the middle of the ice to TJ Brody. Brody passing behind Blake Como, and they're offside. Let's join Scott.
All right, Mark, here's why the Flames need to find a way to score tonight. It's a gargantuan task they face in the second half of the season. A year ago, you'll recall, they had that spectacular second half and still fell short of the playoffs. A year later, they'll need to be even better to make the postseason. At least right now, the postseason's still in the discussion. But if the Flames can't put the brakes on this 5-game losing streak, it won't be for long.
They're back in that win 2 of every 3 game situation.
Well, last year, their forwards went on a tear offensively. Their power play really erupted. Morrison was like a renaissance man for them. Now the injuries have hit and hit hard.
Big time. 8 injuries. Here's Heatley. Wrap around. Koivu with a one-timer and just misfired from the back door. Iginla shipping it for Glencross. Dropping it for Iginla. Heatley there to cover up. As the close checking continues between these lines. Now Nick Johnson on the ice. This Spurgeon. Johnson to the slot. Lost the puck as Kostopoulos jumped on him. Koivu tried to backhand pass through the legs. Didn't work on Bouwmeester. Wellman knocks Kostopoulos down. The puck gets away from Koivu. He's at the end of his shift and heads to the bench. Jay Bouwmeester, a -5 in that 9-0 loss to Boston 2 days ago. -13 in his last 5 games coming in here tonight. Didliski quick on the puck. Away on the forecheck. Away from Kostopoulos. Headmans it to Matt Cullen. Then to the left wing. Wellman in behind the Calgary net. Jackman back in deep to help on the check.
Very good hustle by Jackman coming off the bench to close that down.
Horak scoots up the ice. Drops it. Jackman on the puck. Horak turns and fires right on. AC Wellman all by himself leading the rush for Minnesota to an open side. Here's Cullen. The shot blocked by Babchuk. Bouncing high into the air. Horak knocks it down. Gets it ahead of Kostopoulos. To play it off the boards to safety. Zanin checked by Jackman. A turnover. Roman Horak. He's at the end of his shift. Dumps it in. Clayton Stoner bouncing it over top of Gilly. Stopped by Saric. Now Lee Stempniak turning, weaving in his own zone. Brody back to Stempniak at center. He finds it to the right wing on Backlund's stick. Michael Backlund in front, gloved by Zanin. Loose puck scooped up by Colton Gillies. He hustles to center, gets around Brody. Backlund is back to cover for his defender. Saric across to Brody to center, scooting up the ice across the line, chipping it in on the offside.
Boy, the back checking has been attentive and eager here as the second period winds down, and Jackman and Horak had a real good chip. Jackman came hustling back into his own zone, wins that puck in the corner. They go the other direction. He jumps into the play again, little spinorama, and Horak came close. Tough save for Backstrom, who makes it look easy.
Brodziak gets the draw, but it goes straight to Babchuk, who drives it in the Minnesota zone. Como trying to chip it to the point. It's pushed out by Brodziak to Cal Clutterbuck. Hustling in, one-on-one with Babchuk, who wins the physical battle there, then loses the puck in behind the net. Byron gets it ahead up the right wing. Como gets it out, and it's hammered right back in by Scandella. Clayton Wilson around behind to the near corner. Babchuk, nice outlet pass. Byron goes hard to the net. Blake Como going wide on Scandella. Still has the puck on his stick. Backhands it in front. Loose puck for Byron. Can't pull the trigger. Now Blair Jones fires. And it's stopped by Backstrom.
Wow, out of nothing. Pull it out of the pile and gets stymied. Deep pressure. Como's made his presence felt here in the second period. The Wild were in good stead. They had a lot of guys near the net to try to close things out, but a good hunt by Jones. Lurks. Brodziak leaves them for a second, the two center icemen, and then boom, right into the logo of Backstrom in tight. He's like, if I keep that a little lower, maybe I find the 5-hole.
Blair Jones had 2 goals and 2 assists in 22 games with Tampa Bay before this trade to Calgary. Puck cut off by Zidliski, kept in by Bouwmeester, shoveling it towards the net. Nick Schultz is there, flipping it to center. Gloves by Chris Butler. Back comes Calgary in transition. It hops over Glenn Cross's stick. Again, the lurking in the back circle. Jokinen picks it up. Back along the boards. Glenn Cross had it hop over his stick and is chopped back down the ice. Jerome McGinley still looking for his first shot on goal. The bottom 2 lines for Calgary have had the best chances. Here's McGinley now. Knocked down by Clayton Stoner. Gets the puck along the boards. It's picked up by Setaguchi, who gets it outside the line. McGinley takes it right back, and here comes Calgary again. In behind the Minnesota net. McGinley chasing. Loose puck. Around the boards, it's cleared by Schultz and out to center.
Some good puck hunger there from Jerome McGinley. He's had a little bit of weight in his game, though. Here tonight, he's made himself available on the weak side of the rink. But it's tough for the Flames to get him the puck and get him wide open.
Stopoulos puts it on the stick of Zanin. Spurgeon had trouble with it. Back comes Zanin across the line. A long shot. Blocked by Saric. Blocks the second attempt. Clutterbuck trying to feed it to the point. Was checked by Stempniak, who flips it down the ice. The final seconds ticking off the clock here in the second period. Jared Spurgeon. One pass to center. Clutterbuck gets it into zone, takes a hit from Saric as the horn sounds to end this second period. The shots 8-8 in the second for a 2-period total 21-17 in favor of the Flames. But still a scoreless hockey game after 40 minutes. Scott?
Mark, scoreboard Saturday coming up in this intermission, and this game's got a next goal feel, a next goal wins feel to it, doesn't it? We'll get a word with Minnesota's Kyle Brodziak when we come back to Scotiabank Saddledome.
Back in the Stampede City, Calgary, Alberta, for the third period of this Northwest Division matchup, and scoreless through 40 minutes as the first lines line up again. Minnesota's top line with 9 shots so far, Calgary's with just 3. And anticipation still high here for Jerome McGinley, seeking his 500th career goal. And he's got to get a shot on goal. He hasn't got one yet, neither does his center, Olli Jokinen.
Yeah, all 3 from Glenn Cross. And that's kind of what they ask of Koivu and company for the Wild. Attack, but defend equally.
Nobody taking many chances offensively.
Crowd's getting into it a little bit. They've been on their hands and semi-silent all night.
Glencross on the forecheck. The puck comes to Iginla. Centering pass goes right through the skates of Jokinen. Glencross back inside his own zone. Leading goal scorer for Calgary with 16 so far in the season. We'll head for a James. A fairly pedestrian pace to start this third period. Neither team has scored in 5 periods coming into this one.
It's the great Northwest Division goal famine that they're enduring right now.
Zanin ahead for Powell. He'll get it deep and chase Chris Butler behind his own net. Butler leaving it for Bomeister, but Brodziak is there. He takes the puck along the boards, loses control. Byron back, a turnover to Nick Johnson. Johnson to move in the corner, and then he has it taken off his stick by Byron. Checking close confines, and finally the Flames will get it out as Blair Jones takes a shot from Stoner at center but gets it deep.
There's some strong board work by Brodziak and company there.
Johnson chipping it back inside the zone. It's been the story of the night. Chip and chase and forecheck the heck out of this hockey game. Brody tries to get it out. It comes to Scandella. His shot whistles wide. Brody head to the middle. Backlund to the right side. Stepniak with a shot. The big rebound. Boma scores! The goose eggs are cracked, and Lance Boma from Craig, Saskatchewan, called up from Abbotsford, gets his team on the board with his first NHL goal.
Starts from their own zone, and obviously the big bomb from the right side set it up. This is a Husky rebound off the blocker of Backstrom, who didn't get a good jump on it. 45-degree angles are usually bad angles. It looked like the Wild had a pretty good play on it on its way back out. Wellman was right there, but Big Boma pounces on that, breaks the scoreless tie.
He played 16 games last year with Calgary, had 1 assist, gets called up, and he gets his first NHL goal here tonight. There's the announcement, and this building comes alive.
Assistant number 22, Lee Stepniak.
Fans here in Calgary sat through 3 periods of scoreless hockey in the gold medal game of the World Junior Championship between Sweden and Russia. And here in the third, we're on the board. The Flames with a 1-0 lead. Staubitz knocks it down outside the line. Horak gets away from Gillies. The right side, off the crossbar on the blast by Kostopoulos.
Wow.
Fans buzzing after that chance, and Butler headmans to Jokinen. Jokinen to center, gets it in deep. Backstrom steadies it for Stoner, bouncing it, gloved by Jokinen at the line, checked by Heatley. Here's Iginla off the goalpost. Oh, he had the howitzer and 500 in his sights, and he rings it off the iron.
It's become musical here early in the third period. First Kostopoulos, and then boom. He just wades into this one. Good gritty work just inside the blue line by his center iceman, and then pounces on this. He'd been waiting for this for 2+ periods, and off the pipe.
Puck gets away from Butler. He plays it off the boards, scooped up by Glencross. So a couple of shots off the pipes and a goal by Boma, and Calgary is ignited here in the third. Here's Glencross trying to get around Spurgeon. He nearly did and lost control at the last second. Jokinen caught by Koivu, and we have a penalty being called here, a hooking call, a hooking penalty.
Well, the unvarnished offenses, and obviously the Flames getting themselves unclogged, and a couple of rapid opportunities to add to it. And then out of this pile in the corner, more gritty work along the boards. Jokinen in there, subtle hook by Scandella has him sequestered, and the Flames the opportunity to add.
Just the second penalty taken by the Wild in this road game, and Calgary back on the power play. Wilson towards the net, stopped up high and chopped away by Nick Schultz. Babchuk behind the net to Blair Jones. Jones loses control. Back to the point it comes. Anton Babchuk. His partner Wilson back to Babchuk. He winds, fakes the shot down low. Back to Stepniak. He's in. Saved by Backstrom. Backlund to the point. Babchuk down low again. Stepniak to the point. Babchuk across the line. Wilson. Babchuk hits the side of the net. Blair Jones into the corner with it. Michael Backlund in the corner to the point. Wilson back to Babchuk. His shot is stopped by Backstrom. Calgary resting their first power play unit. They just got off the ice before this power play. Stepniak. Babchuk across to Wilson. The minor leaguers with pressure here. Came out of the trapper. Back to the point. Babchuk fires. It's blocked by Brodziak. Right back to Babchuk. Across for Wilson. And his shot is tipped wide. Stepniak at the half boards. 50 seconds to go in this power play. Great Calgary pressure. Backlund leaves it behind the net for Stepniak. To the point. Shot by Wilson is blocked by Powell. He goes right back to Backlund at the half boards, far side. Down low, Blair Jones bouncing it to the point. Clay Wilson now leaves it for Blair Jones. Pad save on the wrist shot. Back to the point, gloved by Wilson. Backlund at the circle. Back to Wilson, 20 seconds to go in the power play. Babchuk finds, fires, and no rebound.
Wow, Blair Jones was great during that set right in front of the net with that net presence. The only tally here tonight, Stepniak with the wrister. Big juicy rebound for Boma, and that line's been very good. Backlund's been excellent tonight. There's a big grin. First cookie in the apple. And they've really hit the gas since then. The Flames have been outstanding.
6 shots on goal in the Calgary power play. The final seconds as it's sent down the ice. That unit was on the ice. In a sharp angle shot there from Cullen. Ate up a minute 46 of the power play.
Yeah, this group was up on the bench and as much hoping that the group got the insurance tally as much as they were, hey, somebody hang on to this thing or get it down so we can get out there.
It was a minute 44 exactly. 16 seconds left. Penalty now over. Again was stopped up by Stoner. Still has it. Flips it towards net. It's intercepted by Zanin. Now Danny Heatley trying to get around Bolmeister. Butler is there first. Out to Bolmeister, off the boards to Roman Horak. Horak fakes the pass, cuts in his own zone, lost his edge. But a scary, risky move in his own end. In deep for Setaguchi. Setaguchi lost his edge trying the wraparound. Again, flips it off ice. Horak in behind Scandella. Scandella repositions himself to cut off, and Zidliski head to Koivu. Mikko Koivu outlets straight up the middle. Colton Gillies. Stobbits knocks it out of the air. Into the corner now. Gillies pressed along the boards by TJ Brody. Lost it in his skates. It comes to Warren Peters. And his quick snapshot is gloved by Kiprasov. And they muck about in the Calgary goal crease. Officials will separate the combatants in a 1-0 Calgary lead. Jarome Iginla still on the cusp of 500 career goals after a slow start tonight.
Well, for the early portions of the game, it seemed to be trying to make himself available away from the play. And there's no question the Wild have had an awareness, you know, realizing that they're going to try to feed him. There's that gritty shift late in the second period when he got it, and then the closest he's come here in the third period when he ripped that off the pipe.
Still looking for his first shot on goal.
Yeah, that doesn't count. You're right.
Calgary's come alive. 9-1 the shots. A pass to Boma got away and a check by Spurgeon. The shot by Backlund nearly caught Backstrom. In behind the net. Boma gets it back to the point. Saric fumbling with the puck. And it's cleared to center. In behind Brody. Nick Johnson giving chase now. Johnson is there. Has the puck on his stick. Tries to center. Goes off the stick to the side of the Calgary net. Calgary out shooting Minnesota 9-1 here in the third period and 2 goal posts.
Yeah, you look up and all of a sudden they're out shooting the Wild 2-1 on the game. And it had been tight for most of this night.
Off the boards, Warren Peters bounces it to center. He gets by Paul Byron. Zidliski quick in the retreat in his own zone. Leaves it for Schultz. He takes a shot. At center, Shabbatz has his stick chopped out of his hands by Blair Jones at an offside call at the Calgary blue line. Wednesday night, Canada's favorite PI is back. Watch the season premiere of Republic of Doyle with special guest Russell Crowe, Wednesday night at 9 on CBC television.
Gorgeous day in Calgary today. The 50-50 pot, not as big as it was the last couple of weeks in this building. Still not a bad take home.
Getting six-figure 50-50 pots. Unbelievable. Last I looked here, it was approaching $80,000 tonight.
That doesn't raise my eyebrow.
Radziak gets the draw. Zanin drives it in the Calgary end. Babchuk along the boards, gets it off the glass. Length of the ice. The icing as Zanin is back to touch up for Minnesota.
Boy, the others for Brent Sutter's team have been pretty good tonight. They've got received very good efforts by, Jones, I think, has played great tonight. They get the goal from Boma. Backlund's been very good. Some good shifts out of that fourth line. Harak, Kostopoulos, Jackman. And their decor is held tight. Banged up, dinged up decor. And Kiprasov has been Kiprasov. Perfect.
The journeyman, Clay Wilson, has looked good tonight. Reaching forward, Iginla now has it back on a stick, quickly checked away by Mikko Koivu. Danny Heatley flipping it for Koivu, past him. Butler back along the boards, cut off by Heatley. In front of Glencross, Heatley battling for the puck. Butler takes him off the puck, and Glencross headbands to the captain, Jerome Iginla, with Bouwmeester on the rush. Iginla in front, they score! It went off a skate! Jerome Iginla's mob! The milestone moment! 500 goals!
He scored prettier ones, but not many bigger ones.
They're standing in Calgary. Jerome Iginla on his night of distinction. 500 goals with the same team. Looked like he was trying to pass it in front. Moments after that, howitzer off the iron.
Yeah. Another look at it. Simplistic stuff. Take it wide, throw it at the rack. Went off of Koivu's skate in front of the net. Good net drive by Glencross to set it up. He was looking pass all the way, and instead gets an epic tally.
A fluke goal makes 500, and Jerome Iginla on the Jumbotron saluting the crowd as they continue to stand and applaud. A deafening roar here at the Saddledome. One of only 15 players to get 500 with the same team. And it's a 2-0 lead. Seems almost insurmountable in the game the way it's been played here tonight. And now the Wild have to open up. There's a tip by Clutterbuck, and it's smothered by Kiprasov as it gets more intense.
A little counter punch during all the euphoria here at the Saddledome. Well, congratulations to one of the good guys in the game. 2 50-goal campaigns for him have been highlights. Here's a real good look at it. 2 skates.
2 skates. It doesn't get much flukier than that. The fluke for 500. He scored most of his goals along the way against Dwayne Rollison with 15. That's 34 against Minnesota. And it's no surprise, Craig Conroy assisted on 85 of those goals, the most of any teammate here in Calgary.
He has every one of his goals on video.
He does. We're talking to him about that today. He says it's a video database that he sometimes goes back to when he's in a bit of a slump. There's a centering attempt to Stempniak. Matt Cullen at center. Across the blue line. Gets it in front. Blocked by Wilson. Spurgeon all the way in deep as Minnesota activates his defense. Johnson tries to back out. He's stopped by Babchuk. And now it's Backlund, the center, with Lee Stempniak. Stempniak, stick check from Spurgeon. Can't take him off the puck, though. Now he pokes it free. Comes right back to Stempniak. Back to the boards. Fishing forward is Wellman. And Horak gets it deep behind the goal line. What a night it's been. Lance Boma gets his first NHL goal, and Jerome McGinley gets his 500th. That's the long and the short of it in Calgary. Chris Butler out to Kostopoulos. Off the board, but it's knocked down. Big hit. Kostopoulos takes a wallop. He's not happy as he has words with Setaguchi, and Heatley enters the fray. There's a penalty coming. We'll sort it out when we come back on Jerome McGinley's red letter night in Calgary. Penalty box for boarding after this vicious hit on Tom Kostopoulos.
He's been a good tracker all night long, but this puck is long gone. Kostopoulos gets rid of it and gets clocked, and didn't like it too much as he came back and got right in the face of Setaguchi. So this doesn't help the comeback cause for the Wild, who have really been on their heels here as the Flames have found their legs, their offense, and their game.
Calgary 0 for 2 on the power play with 6 shots on goal. Bouwmeester away from Bronziak. Cross for TJ Brody at the half boards. Down low, Glenn Cross to Jokinen. Again, LeCamp on the back door. Pass in front, glancing off the stick of Nick Schultz. It comes back to Glenn Cross to the point. Brody moving the point at the circle and half boards. Iginla back to Brody. Backhand saucer to Iginla. Snapshot. Did that hit the post again?
It's the same spot.
Iginla to the point. Great snapshot power on that one. Now Brody. Bouwmeester at the far half boards. Attacking in behind the net. In front for Glenn Cross. He scores! Curtis Glencross with his team-leading 17th goal and his 6th on the power play.
They've opened the wall. Just prior to that, Iginla finds the range and a screen set up in front of the net. Glencross instrumental in that, and then he gets the tally. Boy, Bouwmeester was very active during this power play. He was all over the place. Comes down low. Schultz leaps. Glencross, he just can't adjust in time. It's a perfect setup down below the icing line. So he gets rewarded after creating that confusion in front of the net on the Iginla goal.
Glencross 2 games into the second half of the season, now with 17, on a pace for 30 for the first time in his career. Reaches out his backhand off the stick of Clay Wilson, another big stick in the lane for him. And now Roman Horak is inspired by his teammates. Going down the ice, turns it over though to Warren Peters. Here's Dobbins back up the ice with Colton Gillies. Now just lifting his stick, cut off by Peters, centering attempt blocked by Horak. And the Flames will get it back to center. Kostopoulos chipping it, trying to chase it. Scandella is there first for Minnesota, up the boards to Gillies. He'll bounce it back inside the Calgary zone. Under 8 minutes to go and a 3-0 Calgary lead. A game that was scoreless through 40 minutes. Calgary with 3 goals in 9 minutes and 13 seconds in this third period. Loose puck cleared by Spurgeon. Battling in the corner now. It comes free to Michael Backlund. Leaving it for Lee Stempniak. Back to Backlund. Can't get the shot. Wellman in his face. Backlund across for Brody. Fires under the glove. A big rebound. Back to the point. Saric hammers it just wide. Brody in deep. Trying to hold on to the puck. Still has it on his stick. Now gets it to the corner. All alone. Lance Boma. Wrap around. Rebound. Stopped by Backstrom.
Boy, the Wild aren't eliminating anybody all of a sudden now. They haven't had a shot on goal in forever.
And Calgary still has its foot on the pedal.
There's a crazy play. Watch this after the face-off at center ice. There's a pretty vicious hit right at center ice. The play goes on back into the Flames' end, and two players from both sides just have their own game at center ice, at least a verbal joust. Stoner, Jackman.
Yeah, he had Stoner down for a pin. Now Setaguchi, soft shot is scooped up by Mika Kiprusoff. He'll hold on for a whistle.
The other part of the story here tonight, he had to be so good early on when the Flames didn't really have their legs, and the Wild came after them, kept them silent, and as the game has moved along, he's had to do less and less as his team has become better and better.
15-3 is the shots in favor of Calgary here in the third period. 3 unanswered goals. The 3-0 lead. Schultz scoops it to the corner. Heatley cut off by Butler. Zidliski gets it to the point. Schultz fires, and another glove save as Kiprusoff saw that one all the way.
Very uncharacteristically, Mika Kiprusoff had given up 10 goals in his last 2.5 games. So, you know, looking to bounce back, he gets back home. And you look at those two guys, right? Iginla, he gets his 500th here tonight. You got Kiprusoff with a clean sheet so far in this one. The two of them are the cornerstone and have been of this Flames organization.
They're just always on the ice for Calgary, aren't they? Schultz backhands it to the boards. Whiskey's shot doesn't get through. Heatley leaves it for Setaguchi. Jokinen on him, but Setaguchi escapes with a sharp angle shot. There's a rebound for Heatley, and he may have drawn a penalty in front. No, it's coming to Minnesota. It is a Flames penalty. Minnesota with their net empty for the extra attacker. Here's Koivu. Backhand pass for Heatley, and he scores. Danny Heatley on the delayed penalty. Slides it underneath Mika Kiprusoff, and it's 3-1.
Well, he's their leading goal scorer, and the drought ends for the Wild on this road trip. Those quick hands in tight. He goes right 5-hole on Kiprusoff on the delayed call. There was coverage in front of the net, but usually adjacent coverage. I think it was Butler who was right there with him. Couldn't tie up his stick. That long reach of Heatley and the quick whip puts them on the board and makes the final 6 minutes a little more interesting.
Still lots of time for the Wild to mount a comeback. Zanin center for Clutterbuck inside the zone. Brodziak gets away from Brody, leaves it for Stoner. Rishad Brodziak, backhand, oh, and Kiprusoff gets across to stop it.
Wow.
A diving glove save. Now Clutterbuck is busted up at center and loses the puck on the hit from Blair Jones. Had a pretty good first game here in Calgary. Byron tips it, gets it deep. Backstrom for Stoner, back for Greg Zanin. Long pass to center. Cullen checked on the play by Babchuk. Zanin back in his own end for Stoner. Gets it off the boards. It gets in behind Backlund. Here comes Cullen fighting for the puck in front for Nick Johnson. Another chance. The save. Rebound. Here comes Wellman as he crashes the Calgary net. Minnesota pulling out all the stops now. Cullen's pass broken up by Babchuk. He's checked by Johnson. Cullen back to Johnson. It's intercepted by Backlund, who gets it around the boards and just out past Bergen.
Boy, Backlund's been pretty good tonight, but he's got to be stronger on that play than that. Kiprusoff has made 2 stunning stops here to keep this a 2-goal lead.
Here they come again. Johnson stopped by Bouwmeester, but he gets the puck again. Johnson in front for Peters, and Warren Peters on the short side is stopped by Kiprusoff. Minnesota with Kiprusoff under siege. Brodziak on the backhand, and a sprawling Kiprusoff manages to keep it out by the slimmest of margins. The Pinnacle 500 tonight, and he's our subject on the Hockey Night Close-Up, brought to you by Subway Restaurant.
Speaking of close, he came close earlier in the period and then gets sort of a magical wrister from the boards to flatter off a couple of players and go in for the 500. The durable community icon that he is here, a big one for him.
You know, and as we mentioned, he has every one of his goals on video. That may not have been the prettiest, but it will be the sweetest of his NHL career as he has etched himself into the fabric of this game.
You know, one of the many people he credits is Theo Fleury for his success as a Flame. Said the ability to see his drive and passion and competitiveness early in his career meant a lot.
With the Wild trying to come back here tonight.
They've showed some character here since.
Really pushed back. Heatley turns it over, throws it in front. Schultz shot just misses. Koivu storming hard on the forecheck along with Heatley. And Setaguchi holds it in the zone. Setaguchi's pass off a stick and out. Glencross got his stick in the lane. Nick Schultz across for Marek Zidliski. Back to Schultz. Up to the line. Tipped in by Heatley. Setaguchi one-on-one with Chris Butler. It's poked free to Koivu. To the corner it goes. Heatley on the backhand. Back along the boards. Koivu trying to battle away from Butler. Gets it to Setaguchi. Knocking it out of the air. Now Bouwmeester gets a piece of it. Loose puck in behind the defense. Butler around the boards. Jerome McGinley hitting Spurgeon. He presses on with the puck. Spurgeon comes out of the corner with it to Koivu in front. Just gets by Heatley. At the lines, Zidliski just can't keep it in. Spurgeon sends it in deep off the glass. Both teams changing on the fly. Approaching 3.5 minutes to go here in the third. Greg Shannon will touch it up, icing the call against Calgary.
Well, it appears the Wild are going to make the Calgary Flames earn this here tonight, as they've come with a little surge after dropping behind 3-0. It seems like the Heatley goal has woken them up a little bit. A timeout, I think, being taken here by Calgary with the icing, and want to talk this over with a 2-goal lead. You know, the Flames have pretty impressive stuff. They're missing a lot of punch on their attack here tonight. 2 of their top 5 scores, 4 of their top 9 are out of the lineup. They got great work by their depth guys for a while, and then the cream here in the third period. Glencross on the power play, and then that epic goal from Jerome McGinley.
I mentioned Richard, Beliveau, Bossy, another name, another player with 500 goals in the same organization with the Islanders. Gordie Howe, Guy Lafleur, Steve Yzerman. The greats that Jerome McGinley has joined, one of 15 players to score 500 goals with the same team.
It's more about making sure you don't give up any more goals for the Flames right now, though. It's a big draw.
3:31 to go. Brodziak gets the draw. Schultz gets it deep. Howe chasing along with Clutterbuck. It's poked free, though, and Blake Como hauls it to center. Gains the line on a 3-on-2. Dropping it. Blair Jones, a fancy move. Backhand in front. It bounced off the stick of Como, and the chance in front is roofed. Oh, Kostopoulos with a great chance, and he's replaying that one through his mind's eye.
Well, this is strong net drive by Kostopoulos. Watch him in the middle. He drives right through to the net. They get the Wild scrambling a little bit in front. Good second effort by Como to win a puck back again. Jones has been terrific tonight in a lot of different areas. Pays the price to wind that one back in front of the net, so he's paid some immediate dividends for Feaster and company here.
Cullen gets the scrum draw. Scandella tied up by Stepniak. He centers it off a skate. Casey Wellman is back to dig it out. Ahead to Nick Johnson over his stick and out to center. Brody drills it right back in. Just missed clipping Scandella. He's pushed off the puck by Lee Stepniak. In behind the net, it comes free at the side. Lance Boma hungry for another. He's got his first ever National Hockey League goal tonight. Back pass, Johnson ahead to Casey Wellman. Chipping it into the zone. TJ Brody dropping it for Saric. It's become a good pair back there.
Yeah, it has. And they've been good tonight, especially Corey Saric has been very good.
Very strong. Some big hits tonight.
It's at their own blue line where they've been most noticeable, where they've held that line.
High pass gets in behind Zidliski. Schultz ahead to Zidliski. He fans on it. Calgary with possession. And that tandem, Saric and Brody, a combined +3 tonight on the blue line for Calgary. There's Setaguchi with a shot. Blocked by Bouwmeester. Loose puck in the slot and cleared by Jokinen. Backstrom trying to get out of the Minnesota net with 1:45 to go here in the third. But an icing call. And this will allow the opportunity for the Wild to get an extra attacker on the ice.
Glencross was arguing for a second that it went off somebody. I'm sure the Wild will probably, they're going to take their timeout here now. So both teams have exhausted their single timeouts, and Mike Yeo and company will try to draw something up here. And they got to score immediately. Probably with the extra attacker on, and essentially that's been the only way they've been able to score tonight. It was a delayed penalty when Heatley cashed in. That's their only tally.
Heatley with his 13th. We mentioned earlier Minnesota, the second lowest scoring team in the league right now, averaging 2.22 goals per game.
They don't get much from their defense. That's one of the areas where maybe they miss a little bit the punch that Brent Burns gave them in pass. 4 of the 6 defensemen for the Wild that are dressed here tonight don't have a goal this season.
Brent Sutter seemed to handle that 9-0 drubbing well for a coach. Didn't get too upset. Said, look, I've been there before. I've lost like that as a player. I know what those guys are feeling. And they bounced back here tonight.
They were embarrassed to a man. It was ugly. But yeah, they've come back, and in a building where they've been very good.
So the Minnesota net empty. 6 attackers on the ice. Brodziak wins another draw. Back to Matt Cullen. Cullen, though, having trouble with the puck, can't get it deep, and it's flipped out by Glencross. Jerome Iginla staring at 5:01, is tied up, looking at that open net, can't get free to shoot on that gaping net.
I thought there should have been a penalty there on Heatley.
Minnesota getting it deep again. Butler to Bouwmeester, off the glass and out of play. Face-off will be back inside the Calgary zone. Here you fans now. Yeah, you're right. They're upset with Heatley. No call.
Well, here it is. It's like a lob pass out of their own zone, and whirling and spinning was Iginla trying to come up with it.
.117 to play. Iginla versus Koivu in the circle. A 3-1 Calgary margin. And Iginla wins the big draw. Butler hammers it around, and it goes out of play again.
This time it's coming outside, though, or no, right back in again?
Right back to the same face-off circle.
Iginla's their best face-off guy. He takes them on that side, the right side, where he's strong on his backhand. Jokinen more so elsewhere, and see if he can match up against Koivu again.
Scrum draw. Iginla got most of that one. But now Brodziak tries to center. Cut off by Iginla to Jokinen, backhanding off the stick of Koivu inside the line. There's Glencross hungry for the puck. We've reached the final minute of the third period. A turnover. Jokinen can't reach it. Brodziak back. And Minnesota having trouble possessing the puck. Iginla fans as he tries to shoot at the open net. Inside the line, it's Heatley setting it up. Danny Heatley running out of time and turns the puck over. Jerome Iginla flipping it. Here comes Olli Jokinen dropping it for Glencross, and a stick check as they waited a little too long. Spurgeon breaking it up.
They were all waiting, I think, waiting for Iginla and to get it to him. He already has his 500th.
Koivu for Cullen, one-on-one with Butler. A nice move in front, backhand, and a save by Kiprasov. A save with 20 seconds to go. It's Cullen made a last cast. Now Brodziak back to Spurgeon at center. Soft flip, knocked out the zone by Kostopoulos. Jokinen reaching for it. He'll stop in front of the bench.
He's got his foot on the puck.
Long shot on goal. The horn sounds to end the game as they mix it up in front of the Calgary bench. The bad blood spills here in a game that was decided in the third period.
Boy, the captain of the Flames really dug in the third period. Helped, obviously, by getting that 500th goal, but a couple of big face-off wins in his own zone late. Some gritty, determined work by him. Look at, watch, Jokinen is just trying to kill the game. Gets a late hit from Darryl Powell, and that drew the ire of a lot of guys in red. Kiprusoff peppered the finish of this with some big stops too.
They're celebrating in Calgary on a night when Jarome Iginla scores his 500th career goal, and it's the game winner to boot. And joining him, Lance Boma with his first ever NHL goal on the same night. Curtis Glencross, his 17th. A 3-1 Calgary victory as they snap a 5-game losing streak coming home here to the Stampede City.
I think Iginla was like the team tonight. He got better as the game moved along, and in the third period they really outclassed the Minnesota Wild, who were game. Just not enough punch offensively for them, and too much Kiprusoff when they did crack through. So big win on home ice for Calgary to see what that can do for their second half and designs on getting back in the hunt for a playoff spot.
Jarome Iginla joining exclusive company, reaching the 500 goal plateau tonight in a 3-1 win. Ron?